So we've decided to put a surgical team and crew into a submarine, reduce it way down in size, and inject it into an artery.
You mean I'm going along?
As part of the crew, yes.
Wait a minute. They can't shrink me.
Our miniaturizer can shrink anything.
But I don't want to be miniaturized.
All right, so part 13 here. I'm finally wrapping up my finale of my weathered Proteus. I promise. Scout's honor. So it'll be all done on this video. I did take some advice from another YouTuber who suggested I put the laser blast, and he was right. It definitely needed that. So I'll show you that here in a second. So I got that completed. The next step for that will be doing a diorama. I'm not going to work on that just yet. I'm going back to my main Proteus build, and I got a little bit accomplished on there as well, and I'll show you what I got done. All right, thank you. All right, so one of a fellow YouTuber commented on my last video, Trip 189N, brought up a good point. He said, where's the hole in the side from the laser? And at first I said, well, yeah, you know, I always thought about doing that, but the more I thought about it, I realized, yeah, that's a crucial part of this wrecked Proteus. At the end of the movie, Dr. Michaels, our villain there, knocks out the pilot and tries piloting the sub into the nerve to kill Dr. Benish, or the scientist Benish. And our hero, Dr. Grant, or Mr. Grant, takes the laser and he blasts the side of the sub, causing it to crash, foiling the plans of the villain there. So so that's an important part. Definitely need that. So I went ahead and I made it. So there's the rough part of it. I went ahead and gouged the nice little part where the laser begins, and a big old opening right there. So I don't have an interior, but you really can't see in there. It's still dark in there since I painted it all black, so I might not really need to do any kind of a faux interior in there. So I'm going to get that weathered as well, and kind of put some black around those edges, some burning where it would burn through, and fill that in. But he was right. I mean, that's an important part, so I think that should definitely be there, and it will go nicely with the pretty well wrecked Proteus and all the other parts, especially when I do a diorama. Not sure if that's going to be seen or not, but it'll be removable from the diorama. So thanks a lot. I appreciate the comment, and you were right. I do need that hole right there that was cut there. So let me get that weathered up, and we'll see how that turns out too. All right, so to kind of reinforce it a bit and give a little bit of an edge to it, I took some thin paper like styrene, and I glued it into the edges of this big open hole in the side of the Proteus. And I took some 5-minute epoxy and I put it around the edge of that. So I'm gonna let that dry. Once it dries, I can go ahead and paint that black as well, and then do some more weathering, but it gives it a bit of a depth to it. And I'll paint that flat black as well inside of there once that all hardens, and you can get that taken care of. So that looks pretty good. And there's the laser strike. I might extend that part there out just a little bit as well, and put some smoke around that so it looks like it was burned by a laser. So there we go. So I have that in there as well, and then I can continue on with some more of the weathering of this. Alright, and there's my finished laser blast into the back of the sub. I think that turned out really good. I didn't want to have any detail inside of it, but it's nicely burned through there, so that you can see a better shot right there. That looks really good. So that turned out really well. I like that a lot. There's my top bubble on there, and I have the top of it there as well. Alright, so that's looking really good. I have some more weathering to do on it with the lighter colors, as I mentioned. That's turning out really well. There's a shot of it from behind as well. I put just a light wash of white on that lighted ring, so you can actually see the separate lights better without the camera, without the video here. So it's glowing through, but it has that yellowish look, so it's faded, and the sub is kind of dying. So it turned out really well. Especially like that. Sorry, get a little better shot there. Sorry. Sorry about that. I do like that laser blast through the side of it, so definitely that was a good thing to go with, and I think that'll be really good with when I get my diorama going. All right, so let me get a little bit more weathering on it, and that'll pretty much finish this up. All right, so I got some more of the weathering done. I finished up the laser blast. I think that turned out really well. Got a lot more charring and burning around it to make that really stand out. So I think that looks really good. Let me show you the profile from the bottom. Yeah, so that looks really good from there as well. You can see I added some more of the weathering stripes. I used some Tamiya buff. This is a nice light, kind of a tan, to augment some of those colors, the flat earth and the German gray. And I'm still going to put on some more of the flat flesh. There's that light in the top there, looks really nice. Add a little bit more weathering, of course, to the top as well. Looks really good. I did this little part here, which is kind of cool. I gouged out a piece of the engine tube there and used a little bit of styrene stripping to put in some what looks like some exposed engine tubing or pipes as well, and that's kind of leaking out some fuel there. Not really fuel, I guess it wouldn't be using fuel, but in any case it's just kind of leaking the interior out of there, so that looks really good. Painted that with some Tamiya aluminum, and got more weathering on the rest of the sub, so it's looking really good. Nice and gooped up there. So at this point I'm just going to finish up with some of the flat flesh, which is a bit of a yellowish hue, and I think I want to put that in some spots and not really streak it so much. And we'll kind of call this finished here shortly. Turning out really good. I really like how that turned out. There's the back view. You can see the lit dome and Dr. Michael's in there in the sub. So quite pleased with that. Alright, so pretty much just ready to wrap this up. It's the thing about weathering. I like it. I haven't done it much, like I said. This is one of my first goes at it, but you could just keep going and going, so I need to kind of call it quits, but it's looking good. I think I have enough chewed up pieces going on. It's looking pretty destroyed. A couple ideas tossing around as far as a diorama for the brain. Got a few ideas for that. It's a pretty good sized kit, so it's going to be tricky because it's got to be a pretty big diorama, and I don't want to make it too huge. So, all right, so let me get the rest of that weathering done, and we'll kind of call this a wrap. All right, and there is the finished weathered Proteus. I added on some more splotches there, as you can see, with the flat flesh. I tried to keep it kind of more of a splotchy little blobs rather than the rest of it, which was streaks. And so I have that up to date. Got the little footholds painted in black as well. Alright, so there we go. there is my final Proteus. Get there. Hold on that. There's my laser blast underneath. Alright, so that's all completed. Ready to go on to a diorama once I get back to it. So, alright, so this is the final finale. All done. Let me go ahead and get back into the main Proteus build and see what we can do on that one as well. Alright. Alright, so back on the main Proteus build, I'm test fitting the interior parts as far as the clearance to be able to put my my top snorkel shaft right there, as you can see. That's going to stick down inside. On the back of it, you're just going to see that back wall, and it's going to conceal it. I need a little piece down below there to cover that as well, that little part of the shaft there. And as I showed in a previous video, I'm going to have the snorkel cord coming down and on a little square magnet that goes down to the bottom of this, sticks in place, and it's removable. On the inside of the kit, I had to cut that piece right there. As you can see, the sink part, I had to cut the back of it to open up a little channel, and so that part is going to go right down in the center, and then on the front of it I have that other bulkhead put onto the top to keep that into place as well. Get in there, you. Okay, so these aren't glued into place or anything, I'm just test fitting them to see that it fits, and it does fit. It's a little snug, but to kind of show you what's going to happen when this back a little bit, when the top comes on, this part here will go right down between and in that little section that's open up there, and so it'll be hidden from the front. You're not going to see it from the front through that front wall, and the back, all you're going to see, as I said, is that wall. It's going to have controls on it. It's going to be sealed, so you're really not going to see the back lab very much, except through these back windows right here. And I'm focusing more on the front of the sub, the front cabin, which is the main part. I have the fin glued on the top, the back tail fin. That's just about dry. I've begun taping off the inside. I'm getting ready to paint the top of it. So I have to finish taping off that part there, a little bit more glue drying on the inside, and that'll be ready to go. But that's going to work out to be very well, and I like the simple solution, as I said, I came up with for the snorkel. Real simple, just a little square shaft there, and the cord will come down. It'll have a little box on the bottom with some magnets that'll hold on to that black magnet there, and then I could just pull it out from the top. So it'll stay in place, it won't come out all the way, and that'll work well. I have the inside painted the flat gall gray for the interior, and so getting ready to just paint the top. Polar Arctic white. Once I get a paint coat on that, and that's ready to go, I'll be able to go ahead and install the snorkel and get it in permanently, and then focus again on finishing up the interior, which I have quite a bit of it done already, and then we'll look at getting the lights going and get some more progress on this kit. So, all right, so let me go ahead and get that outer shell painted, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so here's the snorkel glued into place with that mechanism there for the magnet. Let me kind of show you. I don't have the top part on yet, but it basically just pulls out like that. Comes back down inside. Makes contact with the magnet. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of styrene over that, and then that'll seal that up and ready to go. Alright, and here's a test fit of the top and the bottom of the Proteus that are pretty much completed. I put the little side grills in there, but I don't have it glued together, of course. There's my front grill all set up. I don't have the hatch or anything else on the top either. But they went together pretty nicely. Show you that. See where I cut off the two fins in the back so I could have them two separate pieces. That turned out really well. Not glued together, but lines up really nicely. And if I want to, I can always putty that over once I glue it together and paint it as well. Once I get the tail rudder in there, it probably won't even be noticeable. So I got the snorkel in place, and it is removable. Back down inside. It's held in place, like I said, by a magnet down there in the bottom. That part is pretty much complete. I still have to finish off one little part. I have the front styrene on there, but there's just that one little notch right there. It's a little off center with the top piece. I have to put some kind of piece of plastic in there that would have just a little hole in the middle that hose would just go through, so that'll keep it in place. Otherwise it would come out all the way from the kit. So that's pretty much ready to go, so I can leave that go for the moment, set it aside, and I'm ready to go ahead and finish working on the interior of the sub. But coming along really nicely. Got a nice good coating of paint on there, a little more gloss I need to get on there, and otherwise that's whole outside is pretty well completed. I'm not going to put any decals on just yet until I get it together. So alright, so that is looking really good. Alright, so that's going to wrap it up for this week. I did a lot of good progress like I showed you, and finished up the secondary build of the weathered Proteus. Really happy with it. I'm really proud of how that turned out. I think it was great. I'm going to be on vacation next week. Well deserved, well needed vacation. I'm going to be gone for a week starting here tomorrow, so I won't be posting anything next week most likely until I get back and I start doing some more work on the Proteus, and then I'll be back with you again. So don't give up on me. I will definitely be back, but everybody have a great week. I know I'll have a good time heading back to Pennsylvania, visit my family back in Pittsburgh, so that'll be fun, and then come back and get right to it. All right, thanks a lot.